Okay, guys. So what I passed out to you was a copy of the unit circle. Actually, there are 4 copies of it there. So that is question 1. That's question 1 on your quiz. Okay. So you don't have to do it right now, but between now and quiz time. So what is it? I mean the 4 what? If you want to practice 4 times, you could do that as well. Okay. So since I was giving you a sheet of paper, I thought, why give you a sheet of paper with 1 on it when I could fit 4? Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So, is it related to math? Yes. Mhm. Well, no, you could. What we did, hey guys, what we did to memorize this, or if you need help with this, guys, okay, calm down. What we did to memorize this is that if you're not memorizing, you can use your hand and say, okay, at 30 degrees, there are 3 fingers to the left and 1 finger to the right. So this is square root of 3 over 2, square root of 1 over 2. But instead of calling it the square root of 1, let's just call it, what's the square root of 1? 1. So that's why I write square root of 3 over 2, 1/2 at 30 degrees. At 45 degrees, when I pull down this middle finger, I've got 2 and 2 fingers. So square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. And then at 60 degrees, we've got 1 finger and 3 fingers. So square root of 1 over 2, square root of 3 over 2. So that's a way, if you work with it long enough, you're just going to remember this, okay? Otherwise, you can just use your left hand and recognize that's 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90, okay? So practice with the unit circle. The values of sine, what are they between 180 and 360? Yeah, so 180 to 360 are which quadrants? 3 and 4. Sine is negative in 3 and 4. Okay. What about the tangent between 270 and 360? What quadrants are between 270 and 360? 4th quadrant. What's the value of the tangent? Negative. Okay. What's the cosine between cosine between 90 and 270? What quadrants are those? 90 to 270. 2 and 3. Cosine is negative. Okay. So, okay, all of that was just reading information off of what we did here with the sentence. All students take calculus. All the functions are positive. Only the sine is positive. Only the tangent is positive. Only the cosine is positive. Guys, I'm recording. It's all students take calculus. It's the sentence we're going with. Okay? There is not. Okay? So, I'm positive. So, and there are sentences that will get you detention hours, but we're not going to go there today. Okay? We're just going to stick with this one. Okay? So, guys, okay, let's work through a few of these problems. Okay? There are 3 kinds of problems that you have to deal with the unit circle. One where I ask you for the value of a trig function at an angle, and the other kind where I give you the value, you give me the angle, and the one that has both of those mixed together. So let's start with this kind where I've got the angle, okay? So guys, I want you to put the laptops down. Let's focus on what's going on up here. So there, okay? So secant of 330. What is the first thing I have to do in order to solve this problem? Draw where 330 is as an angle, okay? So when I look at 330, it's close to what number that is on a boundary? It's close to 360, okay? So I know that it's going to start here, it's going to get close to 360, but it's not going to make it, okay? So 330 is how far shy of getting to 360? 30. So that is a 30-degree central angle, okay? So a 30-degree angle in which quadrant? Quadrant 4, okay? Secant is the reciprocal of what? Cosine. So on the unit circle, the cosine is equal to what? X. Therefore, the secant is 1 over x. Okay? So at 30 degrees, what is the x value? Square root of 3 over 2. So what I'm looking for, this is 1 over square root of 3 over 2. And if I'm in the fourth quadrant, cosine, secant, what will those values be? They will be positive. So 1 over the square root of 3 over 2. 1 over a fraction. When you divide by a fraction, that's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. What is this answer? We're going to go with 2 over the square root of 3. Okay? Why what? Well, what if this had been quadrant 2? Then that's going to be negative. Right. Whatever gets you there. Okay? So if you can skip some of this, I'm writing everything down so that you've got something to review back if you need help with that. If you can skip these steps, that's fine. Yeah, the more steps you skip, the less chance you get partial credit if it was just an answer and I'm not sure where it came from. Okay? So, or wrong. Okay? So, okay, cotangent of negative 225. What's the first thing I need to do with this? Draw negative 225. So if that's 0, that's negative 90, negative 180, negative 270. Where does negative 225 put me? Second quadrant, right there. That means I went to 180, I went to negative 180, but I kept going further. How much further did I have to go? Yeah, 45 degrees. These central angles are all turning out to be what kind of numbers? Or 30, or 60, okay? I mean, it's going to be those numbers, okay? If it ends in a 5, chances are, which one is it going to be? 45, okay? These things start to repeat in a pattern. So this is a 45-degree angle in which quadrant? Second quadrant, okay? What's the definition of tangent? Yeah. So the tangent of theta is y over x. Therefore, the cotangent is what? X over y. So at 45 degrees, what's the value of x over y? That's x. Yeah, it's square root of 2 over 2 divided by square root of 2 over 2, which is 1. Okay? So this is square root of 2 over 2 divided by square root of 2 over 2, which is 1. I'm in the second quadrant. What's the value of the tangent in the second quadrant? It is negative. Okay? So this is a negative 1. Okay? Yes? There is a bonus on the quiz. 30. The total quiz. Every quiz has been worth 30 points.
Maybe a funny pop culture one. Are you going to give us an angle that's not 30, 45, or 60?
Yes. You'll see some today. So,
What?
yes. We are, but you'll see some of those that aren't those. We'll figure it out.
But you mean so we weren't going to do that? You're lying to him. You mean like it'll be 225 though? It won't be like 238.
It won't be 238, no.
The angle.
Well, you'll get 90, 270, 180. Those are not. Oh, well, excuse me for. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, secant is negative 1. Secant is the reciprocal of what? Cosine. So this means that the cosine of theta is equal to 1 over negative 1. The reciprocal is 1 over that number. So this means the cosine is what? Negative 1. What's the definition of cosine? Yeah, so this says, this becomes the question, where is x equal to negative 1? Where does that happen on the unit circle? 180. So this answer is 180 degrees, okay? If it's an angle, it's in degrees, yes.
Oh, I gotta give this to my teacher.
Okay. Okay, cosecant of theta is negative square root of 2. Cosecant is the reciprocal of what? Sine. So that means that the sine of theta is equal to what? Okay. Okay, sine corresponds to what coordinate? Y. Do you see anywhere on the unit circle y is equal to 1 over square root of 2? Now, here's where you got to remember, I know you learned this in Algebra 2, but we're going to have to bring this back, something called rationalize the denominator. It means get rid of the radicals that are in the bottom of a fraction, okay? The way you do this is you multiply by, in this case, square root of 2 over the square root of 2. What is square root of 2 divided by square root of 2? What number is that? 1. Multiply by a fraction by 1, is that legal or illegal? Yeah, in most states that's legal, okay? So what? Well, we'll go with the state we're in today. This is legal. I'm multiplying by 1. So on the top of this fraction, you get negative square root of 2. On the bottom of this fraction, you get the square root of 2 squared. What is the square root of 2 squared? 2. So this is, okay, negative square root of 2 over 2. Do you see that anywhere on the unit circle? Yeah, so where is the y value? Where's the y value equal to square root of 2 over 2? 45 degrees. So this is talking about a 45-degree angle, but it's negative. Where is the sign negative? Yeah, so it's a 45-degree angle in quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. So tell me what those angles are. 225 is one of them. What's the other one? And 315. Okay. Now, does everyone see how I'm getting those numbers? Okay. I didn't say okay to that, but guys. Okay, guys, there's too much extra noise and chatter going on here. Okay. Guys, a 45-degree angle in quadrant 3. That's what a 45-degree angle looks like in quadrant 3. Then the question becomes, how do I measure that angle? Well, I went to 180, but was I there yet? No, I had to keep traveling how much further to get to that angle? 45. What's 180 plus 45? That's 225. To find the 315-degree angle, you did something like this. If that's 45 degrees, so you were 45 degrees shy of getting to 360. 360 minus 45 is 315. Okay? Let's look at the next one, very similar. The secant of theta is negative square root of 2. So the secant is the reciprocal of what? Cosine. So this means that the cosine is equal to what? What's the reciprocal of this number? Negative 1 over square root of 2. Okay. So that's the reciprocal. And what we did just a moment ago still applies. Negative 1 over the square root of 2. If I multiply that by square root of 2 over square root of 2, to rationalize it, I get negative square root of 2 over 2. So cosine corresponds to what value? This will be where the students respond. Yes, x. Where do you see x square root of 2 over 2? 45 degrees, okay? This happens to be negative, so where is the cosine negative? Yeah, so it's a 45-degree angle in quadrants 2 and quadrants 3. So what are those two angles? Lance. What are the angles? $135, that's quadrant 2. 225, yeah. So 135 and 225. Okay. Okay, guys, you take a look at the next one. Cotangent equals 0. So I'm getting undefined. Do people agree with that or not agree with that? Okay, what's the definition of tangent? Y over x. What's the definition of cotangent? X over y. Okay? So, is it possible that x over y is equal to 0? What would have to be true if x divided by y is 0? What would have to be 0 to make that true? Not the same. If they're the same number, that's 1. The top has to be 0. If x is 0, this would be 0. Is there any place on the unit circle that x is equal to 0? 90 and 270. Okay? So this answer is 90 degrees and 270 degrees. Okay? Now, for people that said it was undefined, so if you look at if you look at the tangent, y over x is 0. Okay? So if you'd taken this route, y over x equals 0, that means that y is 0. You would have said that y is 0 where? 0 and 180. Okay, so the tangent, let's see, did we do that right? Yeah, hold on just a second. Tangent is 0, okay, we found that. But at that point, the tangent is undefined, okay? So you can't, in this one, some people started finding out where the tangent was 0 and then said, oh, let's take the reciprocal of that. Well, that's undefined, okay? So you had to start with the definition of cotangent here to get an answer to this guy. So you've got blank space there in your book. We want to work a few of these. This is the problem that I did not put on the section here, but it's in your homework. So the 3 kind of problems you have in this section, guys. The ones we started out with, I give you the angle, you give me the trig value. Second kind of problem, I give you the value, you give me the angle, or in some cases, how many answers do you get? 2. You get angle or angles as your answer. Third kind of problem is when we mash all of those together where you got to solve something like this, okay? Now, you look at a problem, look at the first one there, sine theta equal tan of 315. This is an equation. Which side of the equation has the variable? Yeah, I don't know how people come up with the right side. I'm still scratching my head on that. Yeah, it's the left side that has the variable, sine of theta. That's what I'm solving for. The right side has no variable. So that's a number that can be evaluated. How do we figure out the tangent of 315? What do? Yeah, we graph the angle, okay? So where is 315? Yeah. Yeah, so that's 315. That is a 45-degree angle in quadrant 4, okay? What's the definition of tangent? Y over x. At 45 degrees, what is y over x? Which is 1, okay? So this tangent of 315 is 1, but I got to take care of the positive and negative sign. Double check it. In the fourth quadrant, what is tangent? Negative, okay? So this is -1, okay? Now this changes this whole problem. Carter, I want you to keep your hands and your pencils to yourself, okay? So now this problem becomes sine of theta equal -1. So what does this mean? The sine is what value? The y value. So this is asking you, where is y equal to -1? So where is y equal to -1? Where does that happen? Yeah, 270. So theta equal 270 degrees. Okay? So the way this problem is a little bit different, you have to figure out, this is a number. Go figure out what that number is. Now you got the sine of an angle equal a number. And then you draw this out, you look at the unit circle and figure it out from there. So again, let's look at the next one that we see over here. What's the first thing you have to figure out on this problem? Right, you got to figure out what the sine of -135 is. So to do that, you draw the angle, right? So -135 puts me where? So if that's a -135 degrees, what is the central angle from here to here? Yeah, that is a 45-degree angle. So it's a 45-degree angle in quadrant 3, okay? So I'm trying to figure out the sine of that. The sine is what coordinate? Y. What's the y coordinate of 45 degrees? Can we put the deli turkey meat away, okay? Come on, guys. The y value at 45 degrees is square root of 2 over 2. What is the value of sine in the third quadrant? Negative. So this answer is, this is equal to negative square root of 2 over 2. So cosine of theta equal negative square root of 2 over 2. Okay? What's the definition of cosine? X. Where is x equal to square root of 2 over 2? 45 degrees. It's got a negative in front of it. Where is the cosine negative? Quadrants 2 and 3. So the answer to this problem is a 45-degree angle in quadrant 2 and quadrant 3. So what are those two angles? Yeah, 135 and what else? And 225. So the two angles that make that true. Okay? Couple more and we'll be done for the day here. Tangent of theta equal the cotangent of 150. First thing to figure out is which side of the equation can I solve right off? The right, the cotangent of 150. So the cotangent of 150, so you draw the angle. So what is this central angle right here? 30, okay? So this is 30 degrees in quadrant 2, okay? So what's the definition of tangent? Yeah, tangent is y over x. That means the cotangent is what? X over y. So if I go to 30 degrees, what is x over y? Okay, and if I'm in the second quadrant, what are the values of tangent or cotangent? I'm gonna go with negative, okay? Quadrant 2 is what I'm in. So this is negative square root of 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. What does that simplify to be? Yeah, negative square root of 3. So this problem now becomes tangent of theta equal negative square root of 3. Okay. What's the definition of tangent? Y over x. Do you see anywhere on the unit circle that when you take the y value and you divide it by the x value, you get square root of 3? At 60 degrees. When you take the y coordinate, square root of 3 over 2, divided by 1/2, you get square root of 3. So this is a 60-degree angle, but the tangent is negative. Where is the tangent negative? Yeah. Quadrant 2, quadrant 4. So what are those two angles? Okay. So guys, a 60-degree angle in quadrant 2. What is that angle? I'm going to go with 120. Okay. What's in quadrant 4? What's in quadrant 4? 300. Okay. Okay, you guys work on this one. I want to see what you can do. Last one here. Tangent of theta equal cosine of negative 270. What's the cosine of negative 270? 0, because it's the x-coordinate. Negative 270 puts you right up here. The x-coordinate is 0. So this is 0. So this means the tangent of theta equals 0. What's the definition of tangent? Y over x. So if y over x equals 0, that means that which of those numbers has to be 0? Y. So where is y equal to 0 on the unit circle? Where does that happen? 0 and where is y equal to 0 is 0 and 180. Okay? So 0 and 180. Okay?